Hello everyone, and welcome back. We're back with more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time, I think we had just started the third case, and it started with us finding out that our client from the last case had suddenly died in a fire in the carriage that was the crime scene, that was suddenly set while it was still in the courthouse. So we don't know what happened with that, but we don't have time to worry about it now, as we now have another case to try to solve. And we're still trying to get some information on that, so let's begin. Oh yeah, and we also met up with we'll go into that later. February 19th, 2:38 p.m., Briar Road. Looks as though the police are still here, carrying on with their investigation.
Perfect! So let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible.
Yes, and let's see if he'll take a break from his chips to look at that silver tip Iris gave us for him. Oh yeah, that's right. Iris gave us this postcard to give to Gregson. It's supposed to help us get access to examining the crime scene, hopefully. Okay, so let's see how this goes. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? I'm sorry to say I don't. I'm a very busy man. Much too busy to talk to a pair of former gadabouts, that's for sure. What the heck is a gadabout?
We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson.
What? For me? From her ladyship? Her ladyship? Get that here, at once! Come on, hand it over. That's for me. Detective Naruhodo is on the case. Yup. Ah! Don't wait for me to give it to you, will ya? Welcome to the stream, Reen. How you doing tonight? What was that coin exactly? It's a silver crown, obviously, but it's a lot more than that. It's an appearance fee, that's what it is.
An appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean...
That's right, for the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. Her ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me, every time.
Yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly.
Of course, her using my name without my say-so does make me the butt of a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still. Sorry, I was just watching the animation of when more potatoes just magically pop out. More chips magically pop out. I'm sorry, Inspector. That must be difficult for you. Never you mind that. So, what do you know about them? What do you want to know then, eh? Sorry? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem, it says. Well, obviously it's not a problem. Go on, far away. What do you want to know?
Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector, We'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings.
Ah, the little knife-wielding, mustached Japanese fellow? He lives in a right old hovel. It's just over there. Look. On the first floor of that house in the corner where that wreck of a bicycle's propped up.
That is nearby indeed.
If I remember rightly, the landlord is a Mr. John Gerrideb. Right, well, if you see her again, you make sure to give her ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it, you tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes. Don't worry, Inspector, we will. Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship.
Well, at least he told us all we wanted to know before he left.
Yes, so then. Shall we go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's lodgings?
Definitely.
Alright. New location has been added. Yep. Let's go. February 19th, Mr. Natsume's lodgings. It doesn't look terrible. Maybe, although I'm wondering what the heck the cannon's doing here. May I help you? Ah, yes. Would this be the residence of Mr. John Gerrideb? Indeed it would, sir. And who may I say is calling? My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he takes lodgings here?
Oh!
We would very much like to ask him some questions about our client.
Oh! Okay. One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Gerrideb. Did you see that, Miss Susato? That was a real-life English maid.
I know. As I understand it, anyone of standing in English society employs a number of household staff. But that was the first time I've ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, the steak keeps getting better.
It certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it?
We need only to meet a butler and the experience will be complete.
Well, I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but I understand the sentiment. Thank you for waiting. Mr. Gerrideb will see you now. This way. Okay. Oh yes, these two. Not a fan, or are you just gonna keep quiet about them for spoiler reasons for now? Either way, welcome to Stream Soup. How you doing tonight? What the heck is that? I can't examine it. Darn. Okay, fine. They're interesting? Alright, good to know. Good day to you, John Gerrideb, at your service. It's probably intentional, but his head from the side, it looks like a crescent moon. But like I said, that design's probably intentional. Anyway.
Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. He's a defense lawyer.
Do excuse me not getting up. Took a shot to the knee a few years back in the Battle of my wand, don't you know? Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from service. Handed over the reins to the up-and-comings. So he's a retired soldier. It's a hell of a job getting up and downstairs now, I can tell you. Don't get out much, as you can imagine. Yes, it's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs.
You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruhodo.
Do you think so?
Well, Mr. Garadeb, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal.
Oh, it was nothing. The medal's just a folderol anyway. Really. Wouldn't like to offend the general though, so I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. Yeah, I see what you mean. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? Let these good people say it properly. Joan! Fetch the— What? What the hell? Dash it, old woman! Be careful!
Oh, dear me! I do beg your pardon, sir!
Okay. That happened. Humph! You jolly nearly took the skin off my hands.
I shall be more careful, sir.
So anyway, there you have it. Living the quiet life now. Yes, I see. Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs, is that right?
Yes, we would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us.
Only too pleased, naturally. Especially if it helps to keep the peace here in Blighty. We've forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. I guess it's not a big deal since it's his team, but... Although, wouldn't the tobacco from the other end of the pipe fall into it? Anyway. So this case is very much in the public eye, as it were. Oh, is it? Even had some famous detective poking around here, you know, in this old house, would you believe?
Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business.
So how you doing tonight, Soup? Feeling better? Oh, but you have a copy of Rance magazine here, so...
Hey? No,
Anyway, the chap's investigating the fall in his room as we speak.
So he's in Sosuke-san's room. It's a ball of nuisance is what it is. The whole neighborhood's twitching its curtains now. I don't like all this fuss. It's jolly unsettling.
I'm doing a little better. That's good. Glad to hear it. About Mr. Natsume. About Mr. Natsume then, Mr. Garadeb. Please do tell us.
It's my day off, so I'm taking it easy, just to be safe. Sounds good. Oh yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week. Oh, just 1 week?
How are you? I'm doing good, thanks.
Hoping I'd do better at this today than I had been, although I know I'm not going to trial today just yet. Unless this ends up being a very short, chapter of the game, like that one time. So, we'll see. So he moved in very recently then. I have 2 lodgers most of the time, one on the ground floor and one just below us. The first floor room became available a week ago. Dash it all, Joan! Do be careful! Okay, let me see what I just missed. I have 2 lodgers most of the time, one on the ground and one just below us. The first floor room became available a week ago, you see. There had been... Joan? You're being a little suspicious right now. I suspect you will not go to trial, but there's a chance I'm wrong. Yeah, like I said, we'll see. Depends on how long this goes. But yeah, this maid's being a little suspicious to me from right now. Not sure what about, but yeah. Oh my goodness, I'm terribly sorry, sir. Or she could just be that clumsy. I don't know. If you want to know my opinion, I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set eyes on him.
Oh? Why?
He seemed to have a most nervous disposition, always shaking and looking over his shoulder. The man had shady written across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. I said to myself, Joan, that man has trouble. Sooner or later, he's going to do something untoward. And I'm rarely wrong about anything. We won't be calling this maid as a witness, that's for sure. Okay, I'll admit I don't know a lot about the structure of pipes, but I still feel like tobacco should be falling out of the other end into his tea.
Was there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all?
Oh! That does seem weird. Yeah. Yes! Oh yes, indeed there was! And she's dying to tell us. Had you know... Considering it is taped up, he might just be using it... He might just be using as a sort of prop. Yeah, I guess that's possible. I didn't think about that. That's also true. See if he actually smokes out of it. Yeah, so far I don't think he has been. So Reen may be onto something. Had you noticed anything all about your lodger, Mr. Natsume? Oh! Oh my word, yes! The man was shadier than an orchard!
Could you elaborate?
Well, take the man's room. Absolutely stuffed full of books it is. More than anyone could ever read. Somehow I feel he wouldn't be the only person with a room like that, but whatever. Plus he is a university student, so there you go. And he never so much as passes the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He just trots off to that old bookshop every single day, and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time everyone else in the house has gone to bed, too. Oh, I see. Could you imagine going to a tea house and ordering an emphysema Earl Grey? No, I really couldn't. The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed at around 9 each night. But I never known that Japanese fella to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning. Ah.
Could you clarify something, I wonder?
What, pray?
How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine?
Oh!
I had understood that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house. Is that correct?
That's right, yes. They're both below us, on the first floor and street level.
Hi, Luna and Chad. Hey, Dragon. Welcome to stream. How you doing tonight? Then, how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example. Even the times they go to bed.
Oh, not again. Good griff, Joan! Be more careful, woman!
I'm good. I would recommend you look up Soseki Natsume's history sometimes. The story is fascinating. Oh, okay. Will do. I'm good, IST. Hopefully no tobacco in your tea, Dragoon. Yeah, and hopefully it doesn't keep constantly getting poured into your lap. In fact, how much tea is in that pot? You'd think it is in that little pot. You'd think it would be empty by now. He's a real person who is significant to Japan's cultural history. Yeah, I kind of figured that's what you were saying, that he was an actual person. So yeah, I'll try to keep that in mind. Dragoon says, got my butt whooped by Bravely Default 2. Need to figure out why I'm taking so much damage. Oh. Well, I hope you figure that out. Speaking of which, I know I told you this, Dragoon, but I haven't told, my chat, but I haven't told anyone in my chat yet. I downloaded the demo for Bravely Default 2, so that might be a demo you see me try out on a Saturday in the future after I get my, capture card. I played the demo of the first one and I couldn't really get into it, but when I watched Dragoon play it looked pretty fun, so I thought I'd give it a go. When I watched Dragoon play the second game, I mean. Oh my goodness, sir! I'm terribly sorry, sir! Something doesn't add up here. The incident 2 days ago. It seems that the incident took place at around 5 in the evening. Let me check something real quick. John Garadeb. Yeah, I'm not sure about the pun on his name. All I've been able to tell is, as I said, from the side, his face looks like a crescent moon. So, Soup, you hear about Naomi and Sasha Banks walking out on the main event of Raw? No, holy cow, there are very few things more upsetting to the owner than missing a match. Yikes. It seems that the incident took place around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window at around that time? The window. Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby? 5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garadeb household. I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan? No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour. Here's what they put out. Oh, okay, they put out a statement. And with the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road. Oh, I see. Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then? Such as? Anything. Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated. Humph, well. Yes, was there something then? Well, it's not particularly significant, but around the same time. Joan, seriously. I don't want to think the worst of you, but you're really acting suspicious. For the love of God, Joan! Watch where you go! Watch what you're doing! Oh, dear me! What have I done? Oh, I'm so sorry, sir! Okay, I gotta read the history again because of that.
Well, it's nothing particularly significant, but around that sort of time in here, there, and yeah, then he got tea poured on him again. Do be more careful, woman! And if she's not doing this because she's suspicious, then why hasn't he fired her? Of course, sir. If I may, Mr. Narrow Hollow. Okay. Oh, yes. Well, I'm surprised Renosuke figured out that she was talking to him. I have an exceedingly good memory. As far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at that hour. Nothing at all. Oh, really? Mr. Garrett? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been. Oh, well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really. Nothing of— Ah! Joan Dashton! What is the matter with you, woman?
Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened.
Yes, quite. Okay, what's going on here? Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan? Reddit sounds like excuses.
That's right, Mr. Gardeb.
What is the matter with these two?
It sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening of the incident. But what?
I wish I knew. Could you tell us what floor Mr. Natsume's room is on? Why, certainly. Just below us, on the first floor.
And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there, even as we speak?
Yes, tell me Nuts' name. Tell me.
Gosh dang it.
Yes, told me Nuts' name. That's not even how you say that. Had asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key.
Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services?
That's a blatant lie. Of course. Would it be alright if we also had a look around? In Mr. Natsume's room, I mean? Don't see why not. It's just down one flight of stairs. Then again, I'm not sure why I expect these people to care how it's actually pronounced. Who knows if we'll find anything that could help us with the case, but we have to try. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we?
Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more.
Alright, bye. I guess that thing's not important.
Look at that enormous screen. It must have been put there deliberately, surely.
Yes, it certainly seems like someone's trying to hide something from view. What could be behind it, I wonder?
I'm going to have a very quick look. Just a little peek.
Ahem, ahem! Maybe let's not, Miss Susato. I think the maid is going to head us off with a cup of tea. Ahem! That portrait of Mr. Garradeb is glaring at me, I swear.
Have you noticed that all the little frames contain photographic prints of Mr. Garradeb as well?
Yes, and there seems to be a statue of a lion on the mantelpiece as well. Oh, yes. Seemed to come back from the local pawnbroker with that little trinket. Seemed to come back? What do you mean?
Yeah, Dragoon says, yeah, WWE is just poking the bear right now. Naomi is dating Jey Uso, who's related to Roman Reigns, so it might be a power play for a better spot for them. We will see.
The chap who runs the place is a bally wizard. Went in to sell him something and came out with that thing. In point of fact, now I think about it, I rather often find myself leaving the place with something I don't need.
The lion ornament certainly does seem surplus to requirements.
Susato-san doesn't pull her punches. Or her throws, for that matter.
That looks like a Medal of Honor, and it's showcased on a very grand banner.
Yeah, but it's all crooked. Yes, it's displayed with some pride, I would say. Although it bothers me that's not straight. Yeah. What, that old thing? Sorry? I should be glad to see the back of it, but the general would turn in his grave if I disposed of it. The wall's the best place for it. Keeps the bully thing out of my way. So it's just been polished to shine by accident, I suppose?
There appears to be an inscription on the medal itself. Look! Let me see. It says, for distinguished participation.
Sounds like the kind of honors even I could be in line for. Well, one doesn't like to blow one's own trumpet, but I was good with that for my time in the army. Can't measure an officer by the number of medals to his name, of course. Common knowledge in military circles. Are those mortar shells? They're enormous!
Ah, I hadn't noticed! What are they doing there?
I hadn't either. That wasn't what I was clicking on. Oh, those old things. Couple of little rounds actually fired into the barracks during training, you know. Became a bit of colorful regiment folklore, that incident. You mean you deliberately hunted out the spud shells? Well, I wouldn't say deliberately exactly. The only scrap iron, after all, is just thrown away, I believe. But you never know when things might come in useful, do you? Useful for what exactly? Yes, well... Joan here did manage to knock one of the bally things on my foot the other day while she was dusting.
Oh no!
Hadn't shed a tear since 1869 before then, you know. Maybe reconsider throwing them away.
I'm going to get you Trails in the Sky 3 either tomorrow or Thursday. Okay. Thanks, Reen. I appreciate it.
Oh, there are two. Oh, and there are two of them. Okay.
Whoa, at Reen the MVP. I know, right?
That uniform looks fairly ancient, doesn't it?
It's clearly been well looked after, though.
That old thing? Ha! Not much better than rags, really. Oh? Wore that ceremonial garb on my retirement bash, you know. But I'm not one for dwelling on the past me. Would have gladly thrown it out, but you know how it is. Anyway, doesn't hurt to have the odd piece of memorabilia lying around, does it?
Oh, I see.
Perhaps we should leave the past in the past. I see this cannon, I think of Mary Poppins. I think you probably all know what I mean. It's hard to know if he's being modest or not. Yeah. Yeah, it is. That's a full-sized cannon! What's it doing in here?
Oh my, it's real! I thought it might be a replica.
That old thing? Bah! That's little more than a toy. Sorry? The army was selling it off when I retired, so I decided to give it a new home. Never know when the enemy might attack next. Jolly useful to have a cannon about the house. Really? It isn't overkill? Be prepared, I always say. You never know what this twisted world is going to throw at you next, boy.
Do you think there may be trouble brewing, Mr. Garrideb?
Always is. Take Joan here. Never fails to have a clean apron in reserve. Dries them over the barrel, you see. They dry very well in the cannon there, Joan tells me, which rather proves my point, I feel.
There's no kill like overkill.
It's been reduced to a drying rack. No wonder the huge cannon looks like it's hanging its head in shame. I notice you have a pile of books here, Mr. Garrideb. Do you enjoy reading? I've experienced the London winter, boy. The nights are long. No better way to pass the time than in front of the fire with a jolly good book.
Oh, there's a copy of Ramp's magazine here, I see. No doubt Mr. Garrideb enjoys the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, too.
The great detective has a great many followers, it would seem.
Oh, look! What a wonderful collection of cakes lined up on that gleaming silver cake stand.
Lined up? It looks more like someone has half demolished them than me.
Afternoon tea is a time of indulgence, you know. It is quite the English way. It is Mr. Garrideb's custom to take 2 cakes with his tea. That sounds delightful.
Oh, wait a minute, though. There are at least 10 cakes on this cake stand.
Well, naturally! And it would never do to waste the leftovers. So, whatever Mr. Garrideb does indeed, I say to myself, Joan, you shall have to tidy up.
How magnanimous of you.
This old candle holder looks a little out of place here, wouldn't you say?
Well, now I know what that is on the floor. Better over than under, eh? Underkill is just assault. If you squeeze them, they say true love. Okay. Yes. Yeah, the difference between 1 year and life sentence. Yes, you're right. This kill is supposed to be gold, but it's almost completely black for some reason. It is. That old thing, yes. Just a cheap piece of ironmongery. Grimcrack, really. Oh. Used it when I was studying, don't you know? For my commission. I know it's old, hardly worth hanging on to, really. But, well, still has its uses sometimes.
Of course.
Does everything in this room have some elaborate story behind it?
They're memories, Mr. Naruhodo. Memories.
Okay. Look at this crockery on display here. It's rather unusual, isn't it?
Oh my, a genuine London dresser. Isn't it delightful? Although the shelves seem to be broken, and the crockery is... Oh dear, it's in pieces!
It really is. The word cracked wouldn't do that chinaware justice.
Ah! I wonder. Perhaps a cannon was fired at it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably something like that. But let's not delve too deeply here. Yeah, no, if that was the case, there would be a whole wall missing here. Attempted murder. Now really, do they give a Nobel Prize for attempted chemistry? Sideshow Bob. Oh.
This window looks out over Briar Road, where the young woman was attacked.
Oh yes, I can make out the policeman on the far side of the road investigating the crime scene.
The glass is rather murky, isn't it? You can't see very clearly.
Does this thing open at all, I wonder? Looks like it might. I shouldn't underestimate the bitterness of a London winter, sir. Sorry? As soon as you open that window, the tea will freeze in the pot. No Londoner would go opening windows at dusk in the middle of winter, I assure you. Seems very unlikely that these two would have seen anything of the incident, then. Okay, I think I'm done here. I think I've looked at everything I can. I mean... yeah, it doesn't look like they have anything else to say either. So yeah, let's get out of here. A new location has been added. So, off to Mr. Natsume's room. Aw, I see a kitty. February 19th, Mr. Natsume's room. Oh, and I see a Manaki Neko also. What? Just look at this place. And smell it. It's so musty in here. I suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that. That and no actual window.
I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life.
No, me neither. Although I'm not so sure how lucky that Manaki Neko was for him. For Mr. Natsume. It's so dark in here, too.
Is that the window over there?
Well, it was the window, I think, yes. Once upon a time. But for some reason it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives. I can only imagine what it smells like since I've been to a few antique bookstores. Oh, okay.
By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere, have you?
That's true. You'd think we would have already in this small space. No, that's true. But according to what Mr. Garrideb told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. Well, there is another part of this room, but I still don't see him. Well, let's start over here first. Can you find the detective? Not yet. I may take another glance in a bit.
Oh, look! It's a beckoning cat from home!
Yeah, again, I don't think he was very lucky for for our client. It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Manaki Neko all the way from Japan with him.
I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you forgetting the enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage?
Oh, okay. Well, it can be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. Well, hopefully your Daruma did better than the cat did.
Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same, and this cat is sure to beckon good luck to him.
It's not doing a very good job so far, is it? Yeah, okay, see, Renosuke gets it.
You mustn't say such things.
I didn't say a word! Why are my eyes such a giveaway? Look at all those books stacked up there. They almost reach the ceiling.
They're all works of English literature, and they all smell so musty.
With this volume of books to hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you?
No, what a dreamy idea.
A bad dream, maybe. For me, at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again.
Ah, so reading it is an experience that comes but once in a lifetime. Just as the tea ceremony teaches us.
I certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy.
That desk seems to be wedged into a crevice between the mountains of books on either side.
I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat. But surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes, surely he dreamt of books every night as well.
Yes, he must have done, mustn't he?
Renosuke is not going to be winning any poker matches. Nope.
Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your books.
I assume that's how that's pronounced. Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it. Look, and the date of purchase. Ah, 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. Well, okay. That's the day of the incident.
That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books. The second-hand book receipt has been entered into the court record. I'm assuming this is going to be an alibi for him somehow. Anyway, or at least a possible one. Could you even call this a window? I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. Although all that remains is a frame around some bricks now.
So, really, it's just a wall then, isn't it? But why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that?
I'm afraid I have no idea. Ah! Perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on it in a fit of whimsy.
Ugh, that's alarmingly feasible. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation here makes the place very oppressive.
It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying.
Aww. Bye?
Oh my, what an adorable little cat! Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master is away.
I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. It was a tricolor Mike, wasn't it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain?
Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan.
That's made me feel homesick now.
Already? We've only been in this country for 2 days.
Oh, pfft. Now I know he wasn't there before when I looked. At least I don't think he was he? I feel like I would have spotted him if he was. Then again, it's not the first time he's appeared out of thin air, supposedly. You found the detective, yep.
Ah, look! Mr. Naruhodo?
Aha! There he is. Where did he appear from? Okay, good. I didn't go blind in the last 5 minutes.
He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope he won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes?
Oh, you too. Good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Burya.
Yes, of course, the Burya. And let me see. What happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Asogi. He died, tragically. But you were of great help to us.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember me giving my opinion on that, but I kind of felt that was a little bit of an anticlimactic way for him to go.
Even after all of the details came to light.
I don't know.
Just felt a little like it was a bit of a letdown, I guess. Oh yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Asogi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it?
Oh!
Well, you seem to remember something of it, at least.
What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. This is Mr...
Oh no, my dear madam, hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruhodo. Miss Naruhodo. And Mr. Susato. Sure, why not? Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. I lose the first round. In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. So they apprehended Soseki-san in that short an amount of time? I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little. A little? It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls and can distend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately my associate pens them beautifully. You mean Cyrus, I suppose.
Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned.
Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madam, I should only be too pleased, and this murky room is not place to discuss the murky case. We know this to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines.
But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little?
I'm sorry, Mr. Zato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean.
What?
I can't believe he's looking Mr. Zato so squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you, I am not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension. Oh, how? I assure you, I have no recollection of accusing your stupid compatriot of the crime. But that doesn't make sense. The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request to me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. Ah, a man seen fleeing. There were a number of books scattered on the pavement of the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there's a receipt around here somewhere with the establishment in question. So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit then?
I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm back. That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is a trove of fascinating books. I found myself quite lost in bibliophile. However you say that word. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no.
Oh dear.
Ah, tell me. Have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Garadeb, a retired military man.
It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the Great British Institution that is the services.
And it was the first time I've ever met a maid from the Great British Institution that is, service. Okay. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid.
Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer.
And so conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has become to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standing? Sorry? Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family.
Goodness, how extraordinary.
As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it is for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Specifically, in the retired army veteran, Mr. John Gardeb. Oh? After his years, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I am as yet unable to ascertain. I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man whose lot is to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later.
Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one!
Ah, but sooner or later, as I said.
I don't believe that's the issue here.
About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there is a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked with bricks. Oh, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. A window tax? What is that?
Surely not a tax on windows.
Precisely that.
Oh my goodness!
Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home, perhaps, rapidly closed windows up. While the rich opened windows here, there, and everywhere, in an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money.
How awful! And unjust! Forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light.
Indeed, disease was rife as a result. So, some 40 years ago or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remained, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I had done a little digging and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price.
Because the room is so awful, I should think.
Apparently, Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I wonder if it was 1,000 yen a month, or the British equivalent of that. I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh? Still, that is of little relevance here. A matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. Well, I believe I've told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. You remembered that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well, then I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly, too. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Oh yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and there are witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Oh, and one more thing.
Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us!
I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I'm quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Gee, you think? Mr. Garrideb is? Mr. Sholmes said as much before, actually, didn't he? Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case.
Mr. Naruhodo, as yet our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence.
No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Garrideb's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. A busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room. Well, have fun. Okay. February 19th, Mr. Garrideb's room. Oh, you pair again. Tell me, was the detective chap, I forget his name, still hard at work down there?
Mr. Herlock Sholmes?
Oh yes, rings a vague bell. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid. Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there. Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joan. Now then, why don't you tell me what— Gah! For the umpteenth time, woman, will you watch what your bullet was doing?
I shall be summoned to dinner shortly, sir.
Ah, yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave if you'd be so kind.
Oh, yes, of course. We are deeply grateful for all your assistance.
Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garrideb is hiding something. And since no other avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. Kinda already did that, though. Unless there's something I missed, but I don't think there is. I stand corrected. Ugh. Ah, what's he doing over there?
Mr. Sholmes?
Aha, we meet again, my dear fellows. Good gracious, when did you sneak in here? Herlock Sholmes, sir, at your service.
Whatever were you doing over by the window?
I'm given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madam. Yes, sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. Sorry to the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here. Humph, well. Keeping an eye to one's windows at dusk is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering. Ah, and one other thing, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Wait, he's not talking about... Is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon.
Do you mean Mr. Sholmes?
There's a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhodo? I think so. There's just time enough for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let us conclude the matter before dark. Mr. Gardeb, though it would seem you are a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is most certainly not one might call first-rate. I'm afraid, sir, that is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions I've been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements. I beg your pardon? The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. Eh? And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you.
Mr. Naruhodo, look! The old man's broken out in a cold
sweat. Unbelievably, it seems Mr. Sholmes' conclusions are both spot on. How could you possibly? How could I possibly know, you mean, to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of beasts. And I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. The Great Deduction. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Nature of the beast. It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Thus, we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? Ah, for a man with the military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Gardeb, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. Yes, though an army man, you appear unimposing at best. A fact that has fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts. What was this piffle, I ask you? In the end, your admiration became so great, in fact, that you had a living, breathing specimen shipped from India, which you tried to keep in this very house. What? Wait, what was that? Yes, living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you had imagined. The chilling traces of wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well! Yet, as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam? Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is? Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. For protruding from it is a handbill advertising a circus show. Oh! Yes, you sought to dispose of this terrifying lion, Mr. Gardab. At Batty's Circus. A traveling show currently sojourning in a nearby park. I observed the tents. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe. I almost certainly did not. I believe I have made my point. The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion. And a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion pressing jubilantly through a ring of fire. Okay. Topic 2, Aftermath. Now, Mr. Gardeb, it is plain and clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. It is plain and clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Amid fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing someone so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage. Nonsense, man! I simply... But what, we must now ask ourselves, is the true cause of this pain? And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is this pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for payment. Oh! For cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household. And so you had no choice but to let it go. Yes, well, Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. Oh. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh dear me! What could have caused such a destructive outburst? Oh! This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wondering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. Oh! There is no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beast with an unsatiated appetite. Was it, or was it not, once said by such a noblewoman, if they have no bread, let them eat cake. Food is at the heart of all tragedy, in fact. Whatever do you mean? Having tired of the taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I did not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There's only one logical conclusion. Worked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. Sure, whatever you say. The teeth marks on the carpet are a perfect match with those of a lion I once saw in India. Carpet gnawed on by the starving lion. This concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle. Oh no! Gah! What's the matter with you, Joan? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me!
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Gerdep. I'm afraid I didn't notice.
My deductions can be startlingly sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times too.
Oh!
Mr. Sholmes, sorry to butt in, again, but could I make an observation? Why, certainly, Miss Naruhodo. What is it, again? Well, your deductions just now. Do you really think a lion could fit inside a room of this size? Indeed, it's the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense. But wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies inside the realms of common sense as well?
But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Geradev and his maid would have been hurt, or worse.
Ah, that's where you're stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beasties in that large cannon. I thought you said that they sold the lion to the circus.
And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing. But I don't believe I've ever heard of a lion that drinks tea.
Ah, my dear Mrs. Otto, it occurs to me with some regularity that irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they are infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea.
Oh, well... Oh, what a glorious notion! Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's your turn to shine again.
I had a feeling that was coming.
A slight massage, that's all Mr. Sholmes' deductions need. You can do it!
Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward, Mr. Naruto. We don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. At least, that's what I want to believe. Let us start again from the beginning. Of Herlock Sholmes, logic and reasoning is spectacular. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see. That a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Thus, we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? Ah, for a man of the military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Ah, for a man of the military breed, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Gardeb, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. I really didn't see the lion thing coming.
No, but if you observe Mr. Gardeb's reaction, it rather seems as though some beast did indeed run amok in here.
Yes, something with a very fierce matter.
But it couldn't have been a lion transported from India.
So what was it then?
We must follow Mr. Gardeb's gaze. That will lead us to the true answer.
What really caused the damage in this room? What's this photograph?
It appears to be from Mr. Gardeb's wedding. He looks very happy, doesn't he?
He does. At his wife all the time, but he does, but you can't make out his bride.
Oh no, how unfortunate. Someone must have struck the attack winner over the... No, how unfortunate. Someone must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face.
I wonder what happened. Oh, not the best thing to die on here. I wonder what happened. Probably best not to delve too deeply here. There.
The glass is broken, so you can't see the bride's face at all.
And no amount of cracks could hide the... But no amount of cracks could hide the woman's plump form.
I think powerful would be kinder than plump, Mr. Naruto. I think
Yeah, she certainly looks that. There's a lot of horsepower out there. Yeah, she certainly looks... Yeah, she certainly looks that. There's a lot of horsepower there. Not someone you'd want to upset, that's for sure.
Oh look, have you noticed her wedding ring?
Oh look, have you noticed her wedding ring? It's very large.
Oh look, have you noticed her wedding ring? It's very large, isn't it?
Just a moment. Okay, I'm back. Yes, that's an unusual design.
It looks like some sort of embellished sunflower.
What really causes damage to this room? Maybe these?
Take that!
Nope, I guess not. Oh, is it? With their butler wouldn't melt accomplice, the cannon. But war is good for nothing. It brings only destruction. So that we must all strive to understand. What spectacularly contrived logic led you to this mindless conclusion? Oh, well, it's supposed to be a logic and reasoning spectacular, so I thought I'd contribute to the show. This is my show, Mr. Naruhodo. Kindly perform any peculiar experiments on your own stage. Ugh, sorry. The true nature of the beast,
Well, what do we know with some certainty is that a destructive creature has been at work in this room. And that Mr. Garrett had been inadvertently left.
What really caused the damage in this room? Oh, wait, maybe it is this.
Take that!
Nope, okay. Well, I have no idea then. true nature of the beast that run rampant. Well... We already found the answer. Okay.
Take that!
Okay, there we go. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by the newlywed bride. Precisely, Miss Nahudu. No other explanation could possibly fit. Yes, this framed print pictures your wife, Mr. Gardeb. And while we lament the fact that her face is obscured, we can still make out her mighty arms and note the considerable horsepower they must contain. Oh, indeed, surely any woman of such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast. Honored might be stretching a point. Too late, the fact remains that the beast, which so clearly savaged this room, was your wife, Mr. Gardeb. Yeah! The chilling traces of wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well! Yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam? Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is? Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts.
The poor, fragile, defenseless woman is beside herself.
Well, I don't know about fragile.
Oh, dear. Anyway, Mr. Sholmes is quite right. There's no sign of a Miss Gardeb anywhere.
But it seems there may be a clue as to her whereabouts. A clue that this maid is trying to hide. I wonder where Mr. Gardeb's wife could be. Oh, wait a minute. Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. What reveals Mrs. Gardeb's current whereabouts? Well...
Take that!
Okay, that wasn't it. Well, then what is it? Gosh. Yep. Yeah, that's not the conclusion I was coming to. Renoskate. Oh, wait. Okay. Okay, come on. Oh, right. Yeah. No. I did, and it's not letting me pick it. Under? Well, I did look. Oh, okay.
Take that!
Your wedding ring gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Oh! Indeed it does. That flowery band gleaming in your finger gives you away. For it is identical to the rune shown on the hand of Mr. Gyarados' bride in this photographic print. In other words, you're no ordinary household maid. No. You are Mr. Gyarados' lucky bride. You are Mrs. Gyarados herself. Oh my! What? Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmise, this is the wife, yes, my Joan. Rather let herself go, you might say, but she is still Bollica— Ah! Yeah, okay. It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you are a retired army man, yet you are in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct? It's not right, I tell you! I was second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employ. Yes, here in London, one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though, in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are folly. You mean Mr. Gyarados' wife work as his maid? Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Gyarados? Only in company, obviously. But listen here. This must remain a secret. Tip-top secret, please. Alright, no problem. The raging wife of Mr. Gyarados. Okay, now. I think I pretty much already know what's going on here. Anyway, no, Mr. Gyarados. It's plain and clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Oh. Mr. Sholmes is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Gyarados' wife a beast.
Yes, as a woman, that feels rather uncomfortable.
But Mrs. Gyarados is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he?
Oh, how true! So perhaps that supporting arm is meant to be propping up his head. Has some other significance then.
According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Gyarados' pain is tangible, though. What could that pose of his really signify? Yep.
Take that!
Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that slap cheek. And of course, the deliver of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade was you, Madame Joan Gyarados.
Well, yes.
You have been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. Ugh! How the blazes! How'd you work that out, man? Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. To keep your other side from view. Well, Now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subjected to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves what caused Madame Gyarados to fly into a rage. And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is this pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer.
Didn't Mr. Sholmes say that the bills were all for lion fodder?
Yes, but now we've established that the lion never existed. Which could only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Mr. Gyarados' wife.
Mr. Naruhodo, she's a person, not a thing.
Yes, well, she's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap around the face. One so hard that it left a perfect hand mark, in fact.
Yes, why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder?
I'd love to know the answer to that question. What's this? Oh dear.
Oh, someone must be reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here. Look! Mr. Gyarados is clearly an avid reader.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark.
Oh no, so it isn't. It's a note, written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary.
And look next to the signature here.
Lip marks, made with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate, romantic gesture.
Don't get any ideas, Susato-san.
Oh dear, I'm sorry.
So this bookmark is actually a love note then.
Alrighty. Well, this would be our culprit then.
Take that!
Yes, it is this love note that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Perhaps the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary, is the fly in the ointment here. Yeah, I'd say so. Yikes. But I don't know the butler woman. You don't know her? That note wasn't written to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there. It was just in there, you say? That's right, that's what I've been saying. Ah!
Unlikely story.
Now listen here, Joan, old thing. I explained it at the time. I bought the book at that second-hand place, and the note must have already been in there. So the previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark, you mean? That's right, that's what I've been saying!
Unlikely story.
For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name! It's written in James! My name, in case you've forgotten, is Jar!
Unlikely story. Is there a marriage certificate?
Or maybe birth certificate? Are you questioning my name now? Yeah, exactly. And there we have it. Arouse the suspicions of the female heart, and you unleash a beast with the most ferocious bite. Ugh. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack.
Unimaginable?
The aftermath of which can be seen, clearly be seen. The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh dear me.
What could have caused such a destructive outburst?
Oh.
This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we only need to look at the Tower of Cakes.
But surely Miss Scaradeb didn't eat the carpet.
No, of course not. But there doesn't seem to be any doubt that the state of disarray that this room is in is a result of her wild temper.
No, that's true. So this is the last part of Mr. Shulm's seduction that we need to fix. We need only to follow Miss Scaradeb's gaze, and that will tell us the real answer.
Alright, let's see what we can see.
Yes!
Take that!
Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the candlestick. Most illuminating, my dear fellow, and of course the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. Yes, the remnants of a ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible. Indeed they are. The scorch marks at the edge clearly give the truth away. Scorch marks? It would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation.
Oh!
Mrs. Gerda's mighty arm muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her strike caused a candle to fall from the holder, and in seconds the carpet was alight and the whole corner of the room in flames. Yes, For the most ferocious beast in this world is neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire. And in this room, that ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fellow. So you see, there is but one conclusion here. After the sparks of marital discord flew, this room was the scene of a fire. Mr. Sholmes, sir. I salute you! Oh, nice catch. Carpet scorched by a small fire. Solved. Deduction complete. Elementary. Elementary. It's these dash-along winters, you know. Nothing to do but read in front of the fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good second-hand bookshop just around the corner. All my old novels there. And in the pages of one particular novel, you discovered some rather illicit material.
For which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems.
Don't know about demolished. Demolished might be a rather closer to the mark. And beast is most certainly an Here we go again. And the carpet? Was that destroyed by fire when a candle fell to on the floor? Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. I was caught between the old stick's rage and the rage in flames. You paint a torrid picture, sir. One that would have been most entertaining. That's sympathy for you. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bodily furniture started going up as well. We'd have to hide the mess behind that screen for the time. We've had to hide the mess behind that screen for the time being.
Over here, Mr. Garrideb?
Well, you have nothing more to hide now, if you'll allow me. Oh, goodness. Had all my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh! Up in smoke. Gosh. Then the worst started hurling things at me.
What a terrible sight it must have been.
There I was, back up against the wall, under heavy enemy fire, incendiary books coming 10 to the dozen. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite, the book called The Lion's Pride. The Lion's Pride? Ah, yes, your notorious love of big cats coming through again. I assure you, the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest. So the poor man really did lose something dear to him as a result of the ferocious beast's rampage.
Mr. Sholmes' deductions turned out to be correct once again.
It can only be described as a great British wonder. I tell you, it was total carnage. Flames everywhere, and an old stick in full fettle. Out of interest, what time of day was that? Not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see. Around 5 o'clock, I think.
So at exactly the same time, as a terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below.
Humph. Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. The whole of Blighty could have been flying outside my window at that moment, and I wouldn't have noticed a dash of thing.
Oh, really?
Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Naruhodo, what can I do for you? Well, I think we've got to the bottom of Mr. Garrideb's situation now. But what does that have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances? I can't help you there, I'm afraid. What? My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army men to be hiding something, I did not. I could not be sure whether his secret would prove to be of relevance or not. I just knew you were going to say that. Now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into only one of only two categories: those relevant to the case and those not. That makes no sense to me. Well, no matter. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now. Sorry? Visiting hours at the prison will soon be over. Oh no, is it that time already?
If we're to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have official paperwork to tend to.
So that's it. No more time to think.
Perhaps you'd like to betake yourselves to bidding us farewell now. I must prepare supper for Mr. Garrett.
Oh yes. I'm so sorry.
Thank you both very much for your time.
So Seki-san will be waiting for us, and I'm going to have to give him an answer.
February 19th, Briar Road. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. We must hurry back to the prison.
Yes, I know. Let's hail a car. Oh,
What's the matter?
it looks like something's going on over in front of the Garridub's house. Oh, Lord. I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. Oh, you call an old man, you rum-looking timiny-piminy. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. What's this Horatio fellow, eh? What are you all about?
Excuse me.
Eh? What the? Who are you now?
I'm sorry. It just looked as though there might be some problem here. My associate here, Mr. Renosuke Naruhodo, is a lawyer, you see.
Hey, a lawyer? What? If I can be of any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I have studied English law. Fine, I'll be on my way for today, but you mark my words. This ain't over yet! Get thee to a nunnery! Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you?
I do hope you're not injured.
Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle, thank you. What was that all about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than I— Yeah, okay, we already read this. I'm not Horatio either.
Forgive the inquiry, sir, but... Are you a lodger here? In the Garridub residence?
Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right. Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode. Mr. Garridub mentioned that he had another lodger, didn't he? This must be the man. Do you happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor? Oh yes, a gentleman named Natsume. Oh, more worthy a polemist in my battle of words, ne'er could there be. Sorry? Battle, did you say? Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night. I see.
I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances at least.
So, fair maiden, so good gentlemen, I can tarry here no longer. Fairly well!
I didn't really understand him, but I think he's returned to his room.
It seems he's unaware of what's happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. With Soseki-san and that man as lodgers, the Gyarados house is certainly full of eccentrics. Anyway, I'll go and find a carriage.
Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly awaiting our return.
Let's hope we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over.
February 19th, 6:31 p.m. Local prison, cell 9.
Oh, it's you. You're here. You came. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I can't believe you came back. I'm so touched.
We are so sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume.
Oh, no! So say nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never failing Nipponese! Oh, now let's not get carried away. Oh, I quite agree. There's nothing more reassuring than the familiarity of one's native land. On the other hand, it is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates. Such is my belief, at least. It's you! The miserable rotten spy! Hairlock Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here? I have no intention of doing anything per se, save observing, of course.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomful room, and having unmasked the secret of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on the way home to see how our divested friend is faring. A gloomful room? At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that sense, it is a superior option. Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight and cost me not a penny. Ah, you! How dare you, Airlock Sholmes! I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. Haunted by spirits in those accursed lodgings. No doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My whole life has been damned!
Oh, what are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo?
He mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean. And there is much truth in Mr. Mustache's words. What? Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say. For the man's lodgings, and indeed for tomorrow's trial. What's that supposed to mean? Mr. Natsume, what did you mean by what you said just now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed? Oh no, why? Why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous. I was just getting carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it. Oh, I see. That's really agitated him. You don't mean the trial really is cursed somehow? Are you referring to the prosecutor? The Reaper of the Bailey? The Reaper? Oh no, what do you mean? Please tell me! Summarize it succinctly in 16 salient words! No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution. Ever. Oh my goodness! Can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly, was it? Oh, yeah, it was. Go Renosuke, I guess?
Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances.
Mr. McGilded. Whoa! What?! Ah, I am impressed, Mrs. Otto. You have an eye for detail.
Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us.
Mr. Sholmes, surely it can't be that heaven failed to have the accused convicted. Lord Van Zeeks killed the man himself?
Oh no, he couldn't have. Surely.
You have some wonderful notions. Sorry? The man isn't a mass murderer. He's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow.
Oh, yes. Why, of course he is.
Ah! Of course he is! Then why are you trying to scare me? It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. What on earth do you mean by that? Van Zeek's quite an exceptional man. However, in London courts of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. Oh, that's good! Saseki-san looks like he's going to cry tears of joy. As you're no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial, there's both a judge and a jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system, whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion in particular is somewhat easily manipulated. Right. Criminals, and corrupt lawyers for that matter, can use it to their advantage. By any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling impostors as witnesses, and so on. By such underhanded means, those who want to are able to sway the jury, which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail.
But it means the wrong verdict can be passed.
And sadly is from time to time, my dear madam. It is simply the reality of the situation. And that's alright. However, those indicted by Lord Van Zeeks cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed.
Oh my.
Though the adjudication may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom. Within months, they all disappear. It is most striking. Disappear? But how? By all manner of misfortunes, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever, or perhaps attacked by highwaymen. Oh no, no, no! All the examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, I knew it. I'm a dead dodo done for, doomed! When you said accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at Mr. Garrideb's house, I assume. Do you mean to say you believe the place is cursed? It's been a year. It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain. But I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. That didn't take long then. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me, all the time, from dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room, but even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away.
You must have been very lonely, having been away from your homeland for such a long time.
I've had to move a number of times, most recently to that room on Briar Road, a week ago now. Yes, why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money. It appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed." Oops. He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late, so I told him, "If you have something to say, then say it, but if not, don't mention it in the first place!" Yes, well said. But it was true. It was all true. You mean the room really is cursed then? Ever since I moved into that windowless hellhole, my sleep isn't plagued with nightmares. I awake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. And in my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm branded a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. If only there was someone, just one person on my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe in me? Really, no one at all? To believe. Yes, to believe. Mr. Sholmes? Ah, me, Mr. Naruhodo. Pray, what can I do for you? It's about the case on the SS Burya, if you recall. The Burya. Ah, that case. The one with the snake. Well, yes. At that time, I was the suspect, but you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. And you helped us to investigate. I did I? Interesting. What I want to know is, why? Why did you believe me? I see, yes. You mean... because you were a grimly dressed, shady eastern fellow found within the victim in a locked room? Well, if you like, yes. I'm a little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple, really. You said I didn't do it. But I could have been lying! Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing in you, nor in that which you were telling me. What? You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in.
What? What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
I make up my own mind about what is to be believed and what is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances can hang as far as I'm concerned. But I could have betrayed your trust. In that case, I should have made an elementary judgment. Nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse, in my opinion. Meaning... whether or not one should trust another is, in the final analysis, down to oneself. It's a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself. Yes, yes, he's right! He's right, locum student Mr. Naruto Esquire! Whether or not I can believe myself. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. You were so right, Kazuma. Well, my dear fellows, it is time we were leaving, I believe.
Already?
Visiting hour is over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There is a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me?
Oh dear. There is never enough time, is there?
Mr. Natsume. If you'd like, in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you. Locum student Mr. Naruto Esquire! As I said, I only experienced the British courtroom for the first time yesterday, and although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial. Something crucial? What to believe in. The defendant, justice, or the truth. How to believe, even. But I think I finally worked it out. I've decided I must believe in myself above all else. To trust my instincts.
Yes, Mr. Naruto.
And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it's imperative that we prove that in court. Locum student Mr. Naruto Esquire. I will fight for your innocence till the bitter end, with every weapon available to me. So I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow. As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue. Of course, Mr. Natsume. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruto, that your mind was in many ways made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. Miss Susato.
Yes?
Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court?
Absolutely! As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant.
The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind. But it's time to stop looking backwards. Kazuma believed in me, and Mr. Sholmes believes in me now too. So it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself. Saseki-san has no one. He's all alone. So it's my job to help him, to fight his corner. Tomorrow in the courtroom, with all the strength I can muster.
To be continued. Well, we still didn't get much evidence to help us solve this case, so I guess we'll have to see what happens next time. Anyway, this is where I'm going to end the stream for tonight, so I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, you can follow my YouTube channel link below to see my past streams, as well as my Twitter account to be notified when I go live or further announcements. And I will be back tomorrow night to continue playing Ys Memories of Salsetta. So I hope I will see you then. Let's see. And if you'll stick around, we will drop a host. Let's see who we're going to host tonight. Let's host Joe after work, who is playing Catherine Full Body. So I hope you'll stick around for that. And I hope y'all have a great night. I will see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye.